Here's your wrestling news for April 10th, 2021. And if you like what you're watching, smash that like button and give us 1,000 likes or more. And your headlines for this WrestleMania Saturday include WWE making another change to the WrestleMania main event? Why are the two WWE Smackdown Authority figures fighting? WWE keeping WrestleMania match stipulation details secret. Goldberg's WrestleMania 37 plan revealed. AEW star reached out to Steve Austin about joining him. WWE wrestler makes surprise in-ring return during WrestleMania week event. Becky Lynch could return at WWE Wrestlemania this year, a major tease dropped by the man. WWE star admits to getting combative backstage over control of WWE storylines. Vince McMahon sees Chris Jericho on Broken Skull sessions as a business move. Vince McMahon has reportedly given up on two WWE stars. John Cena WrestleMania involvement wouldn't be a surprise. WWE released their employees yet again, and more. We're kicking off WrestleMania Day with Smackdown, as the entire build to the WrestleMania Universal title match was done in parts. Given that Daniel Bryan was standing tall over Edge and Roman Reigns last week, we're surprised the three didn't meet face-to-face last night, but were instead kept separate on the show. Smackdown opened with a Daniel Bryan promo before Edge had his own segment halfway through the show, and Reigns ended the Blue Brand with a promo of his own. All three cut fantastic promos worthy of one of the best WrestleMania builds in a while, though we're perplexed that there were no face-to-face confrontations. Either way, the build to this Sunday's triple threat match has been exceptional, and as Roman Reigns enters his first WrestleMania as champion, it'll be interesting to see who leaves WrestleMania with the Tribal Chief's gold. SmackDown also saw a strange confrontation between Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville as the two were bickering about the WrestleMania main event. In their segment, Deville said that she believes the Universal title match should be a singles match between Edge and Roman Reigns, which would be a huge step back after weeks of building Daniel Bryan as a contender. Pearce didn't agree, and since we never returned to the two later on, fans were left puzzled for Deville's opinions this close to WrestleMania. We are pretty confident that with just over 24 hours to go, the triple threat match won't change, and we can only hope that this leads to some power struggle story between the two down the line. We say we hope that's the outcome because if not, then Deville would look like a fool for trying to mess with the main event so close to WWE's biggest show. We also shouldn't count out the WWE changing the Universal title match so close to WrestleMania, something they did last year, though last year the decision to change it was out of WWE's control. Even if the plan is for Deville and Pearce to feud for control of SmackDown, we'd much rather see her tearing it up in the ring, and this segment wasn't what the Blue Brand needed on their go-home show for WrestleMania. What do you think the Universal title match should look like? Let us know in the comments. From Night 2 to Night 1, as fans will see SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair collide tonight in a major way. While speaking to the Bill Simmons podcast, Stephanie McMahon confirmed that the SmackDown Women's title match will main event tonight's show. This will be just the second time we've seen a women's WrestleMania main event, and WWE have also confirmed that WWE Champion Bobby Lashley vs. Drew McIntyre will open tonight's show. We're not sure which matches will open and close Night 2, but with Peacock still lacking live rewind features, fans who want to see Lashley vs. McIntyre will need to tune in from the beginning tonight. One notable absence this weekend will be Bill Goldberg, who won't be competing at WrestleMania. Despite being in the Universal title picture last year, Goldberg won't appear at this weekend's WrestleMania, but that wasn't the original plan. Fightful has learned that there were plans for Goldberg to compete at this year's event, and his opponent was rumored to be Drew McIntyre. Obviously, plans changed, and the brief McIntyre-Goldberg match was moved to the Royal Rumble, with the Scotsman retaining the WWE title. Goldberg is contracted for at least one more match in WWE in 2021, and who do you think should be next? Let us know below. Over to AEW now, which has many stars from WWE's past, but their list of legends doesn't include Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's not for lack of trying though, as Brian Pillman Jr. explained on the latest AEW Unrestricted, and said that his ultimate goal is for the Rattlesnake to coach his team, the Varsity Blondes. He said, "He would come out of the curtain in a tracksuit and a whistle. He's making us do drills before the match like a drill sergeant. We would always be ready." Though he recently said that Vince McMahon doesn't always take his calls anymore and that he won't be at WrestleMania, Austin and WWE still have a very good relationship, meaning Pillman's dream of seeing the ex-Hollywood blonde on his side will remain a dream. With it being WrestleMania week, you never know who may appear, and this week, former Tough Enough winner Maven returned to the ring. Appearing for an event at Brian Myers and Matt Cardona's major pod network, Maven's surprise appearance got a huge reaction from the crowd, as did his signature dropkick. Though he's not been a wrestler for many years, Maven hasn't lost a step in the ring, and even if this isn't the start of a full-time return to wrestling, it was great to see the former hardcore champion in action. Back to WWE, and earlier this week, company president Nick Khan said that Becky Lynch's return to WWE will be very soon, and it could be even sooner than anyone expects. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, it was noted that there are rumors that Bayley will host an edition of Ding Dong Hello during WrestleMania, which explains why she hasn't been given a match this year despite her incredible 2020. That report also noted that if this segment happens, then the plan is for Lynch to return, driving a big truck to the Raymond James Stadium. Fans may remember that Lynch drove a custom truck to Raw in March 2020, and that was meant to be her entrance for WrestleMania 36 before plans had to change. Given that Lynch has been one of WWE's top stars in the past few years, it certainly makes sense that the company would save her for their first live show in over a year with live fans. The man has even teased that she'll be appearing in just a few hours' time, as on Instagram, she posted a very serious workout. Lynch posting her workouts is nothing new, but what is new is her caption. Nothing is guaranteed here tonight, only now eternally. And if you take the first letter of each word, you'll see it spells out Night 1. Becky Lynch has been absent since May 2020 when she vacated the Raw Women's Championship to Asuka, and it may just be a matter of hours before the man comes around. It makes sense for Lynch to return at WrestleMania given she's one of WWE's top female superstars ever, but like many wrestlers, she too has faced stories she really didn't want. Speaking on the Gorilla Position podcast this week, Lynch said that she was once pitched a story where her head would be shaved bald and said that nothing else was explained about the story. She also added that losing her hair wouldn't be a part of a stipulation in a match, but she'd merely show up bald one day, a pitch the man was quick to reject. The former Raw Women's Champion was able to keep her red locks, and she's even had some wild pitches of her own. Speaking on the Bill Simmons show, Stephanie McMahon said how Lynch had pitched someone jumping her in the maternity ward shortly after the birth of her daughter Rue, and joked that the maternity ward match would be the second part of the women's evolution. Joke or not, we wouldn't be surprised if WWE used Lynch's real life as part of a story for her return, and time will tell what the man has in store when she comes back to the ring. On TV and in real life, Sami Zayn is a very outspoken person, and that's something the Great Liberator knows about himself. While speaking on Oral Sessions, Zayn told Renee Paquette that he can sometimes be, quote, combative when it comes to his storylines, saying he wants to be in control and have a creative input. Zayn also acknowledged that this has gotten him in trouble in WWE before, and said his problem is that he's not the best at playing backstage politics. There's no shortage of stories of Zayn getting into trouble backstage, and at least Zayn acknowledges that his combativeness has cost him some serious heat. One person less combative, at least right now, is Vince McMahon, as he's letting AEW's Chris Jericho appear on the WWE's Broken Skull Sessions. This sort of collaboration is something fans thought they'd never see, and in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's reported that the chairman is seeing Jericho's appearance as a business decision. The belief is that Jericho's shocking return will help Peacock's visibility as they try to gain new attention now that they have WWE programming. The report added that had the timing of WWE's move to Peacock been different, then this interview probably wouldn't have happened, and we'll have to see what Austin and Jericho talk about. Do you think Jericho should return full to WWE or stick with AEW? Sound off in the comments. The chairman may be high on Chris Jericho right now, but that same support doesn't extend to the Hurt Business, who the chairman split last week. It's been reported that both MVP and Lashley pleaded with McMahon not to split the group, but those pleas fell on deaf ears. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer said that plenty of people other than Lashley and MVP told McMahon not to split up the group, but Meltzer explained that Vince had given up on pushing the group and that there's not much that can be done to change his mind. This is hardly a new tactic for McMahon, as stop-start pushes have been around for years, and if the WWE Champion heading into WrestleMania can't convince the boss to change, we doubt anyone else can. This week's WrestleMania will be going ahead without John Cena, or at least that's what the fans have been told by Cena himself. In the past few weeks, Cena has made it clear that his filming commitments to HBO's Peacemaker series means he won't make it to WrestleMania, but fans may still see him on the show. Fightful is reporting that when they spoke to superstars, they said they wouldn't be surprised if he didn't pop up in some capacity. The leader of the C Nation has been part of every WrestleMania since 2003 in some capacity, so it's no surprise fans are expecting him to show up at WrestleMania 37 as well. If he does appear, even in a pre-recorded message, then WWE may even allow him to wear the Peacemaker costume, and with the Suicide Squad film set for an August 2021 release, having him in costume at Mania would be great PR. We are talking about Peacock next, as a lot has changed thanks to WWE's move to the streaming service, and apparently the only foreign language Peacock wants to hear is Spanish. That's according to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, which explained, Raymond Rougeau and Jean Brassard, who've been the French-language announcing team for pay-per-views, were both informed that they were being let go with the move to Peacock. They were told it was a Peacock decision to cancel all international language commentary except for Spanish. Rougeau first joined the company as a wrestler back in 1986, and whilst it's unclear how French fans will listen to the shows now, we're saying a sad au revoir to Rougeau and Brassard. Ronda Rousey hasn't been seen in WWE in over 2 years, and now we have an update on her status. In the Observer newsletter, it was noted that her contract has expired in the past week, but there's no word on if she's re-signed. It was also reported that WWE may have possibly froze her contract given her hiatus, and we'll just have to see if she returns in time for WrestleMania 38 in Los Angeles, as previously reported. And we're ending today with Peacock, as another segment from WWE's past has been cut. If you go to the November 24th, 1997 episode of Raw, a segment with Goldust and Luna Vachon has been edited out. Though neither Peacock nor WWE have given an explanation, it's likely that the segment was cut due to Goldust changing up his usual face paint and his new look being predominantly black face paint. It was just over a week ago that Peacock removed DX's 1998 parody of the Nation of Domination for their use of blackface, and they've also removed Roddy Piper's WrestleMania 6 match with Bad News Brown for Piper painting half his body black. The plan is for WWE and Peacock to review all 17,000 hours of WWE content as they continue to move stuff to their own streaming service, so we doubt Goldust's segment will be the last to be cut. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.